Me fail English? That's impossible. Hi, Super Nintendo Chalmers. You choose me? My cat's breath smells like cat food. I bet my Wookiee. Mrs. Krabappel and Principal Skinner were in the closet making babies, and I saw one of the babies, and the baby looked at me.
Hey guys, I'm Rebecca from WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Ralph Wiggum moments. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. That means we're looking at moments from The Simpsons where Ralph baffled us, made us cringe, or otherwise made us laugh in a way that was unexpected. Okay, let's get to the list. Number 10, The Audition.
At last the world is safe. Fallout Boy.
There's out to lunch, and then there's hungry for lunch, and Ralph is both. The littlest Wiggum is among the throngs auditioning for the coveted role of Fallout Boy.
Look behind you, radioactive man!
It's hard to expect much from the little guy, but this was a surprise. When Ralph walks in and lunch lady Doris gives him his cue, he immediately forgets the room full of Hollywood producers and lets his stomach do the talking. In classic Ralph fashion, he then misunderstands that he's being thrown out of the audition, instead assuming his question about tomorrow's lunch is being answered.
What's for lunch tomorrow?
Next.
Chicken next?
Number 9, Unitard.
You kids like ice cream?
Ralph isn't clever enough to come up with double entendres on purpose, and that's what makes this moment all the better. Homer's gotten into the ice cream biz, and all the kids in Springfield are decidedly excited. While the neighborhood children are all clamoring around Mr. Simpson's truck, Ralph is off in his own little world as per usual. For whatever reason, he decides to stick his cone on his forehead. You may think you know where this joke is going, but the self-deprecating non sequitur that follows is hilariously out of the blue.
I'm a unitard!
Number 8, Duck Duck Goose.
Duck, 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 duck.
When Bart finally gets a perfect grade, a party is thrown in his honor. However, not many people show up. The few guests there are decide to get the party started, or Barted, with a game of Duck Duck Goose. Ralph doesn't get the premise, obviously, and instead overdoses on ducks. When it's much later that night and Ralph is still ducking, a frustrated Bart lets him have it, causing Ralph to cry and comically waddle away.
Duck, 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 duck.
Oh, say goose, you stupid freak!
Ralph must have short-term memory issues though, because the next time we see him, he's back at the Simpson home, playing with the chairs instead.
Duck, 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 duck.
Number 7, I Bent My Wookiee. Ralph manages to win a diorama competition ahead of his brainier classmates with help from some limited edition Star Wars action figures. As you can imagine, he is ecstatic, skipping his way down the sidewalk, boasting about his big win. Unfortunately, he gets a little ahead of himself, tripping, falling, and damaging his toys in the process.
I bent my Wookiee.
His reaction to ruining his Chewbacca toy is a sentiment that rings true with all Star Wars fans, and it is an endlessly quotable one at that. In true Ralph style, he follows it up with yet another classic line when Lisa and Allison invite him to play anagrams.
My cat's breath smells like cat food.
Number 6, why do people run from me?
See you tomorrow, Lisa! We find out what 5 minus 3 is!
Lisa's trying to make some new friends by faking it as a college student. Then Ralph shows up. When he excitedly tells Lisa about the painfully easy math they'll be learning at school, she brushes him off with a relatively realistic excuse, leaving him in her dust.
I'm a teacher's aide in a very special class.
As Lisa and her new pals drive away, Ralph takes things down a notch with a sadly introspective question. Of course, that question is immediately answered, with a little help from Ralph's overactive bladder and creepy smile.
Go, go! Why do people run from me?
Number 5, Making Babies. Ralph's whole life is like one big game of broken telephone. News of the affair between Principal Skinner and Mrs. Krabappel is making its way through Springfield. And along the way, the story gets exaggerated. But no one takes it further than Ralph. Explaining it to his parents, Ralph embellishes, or maybe just misunderstands what it is he saw in the closet. Either way, his version of the story is far from the truth. However, it's his insistence that he saw one of the babies they were making that gives this moment the Ralph seal of peculiarity.
Mrs. Krabappel and Principal Skinner were in the closet making babies, and I saw one of the babies, and the baby looked at me.
Baby looked at you?
Number 4, me fail English?
All right, first academic alert. Wiggum, Ralph.
I won!
Although Ralph is known for saying silly things, some of his best quotes sound almost like poetry. At an assembly, Principal Skinner begins to call up students for academic alerts. Ralph, however, thinks he's won a prize. When he's told he's actually flunking English, his reply is so perfect, it'd sound like a well-scripted joke from anyone else's mouth. A timeless quote used by grammar teachers and Simpsons fans alike, this is one of Ralph's simplest yet most hilarious moments.
No, Ralph. This means you're failing English.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
Number 3, they taste like burning.
I hated the purple berries.
When the students of Springfield Elementary get stranded on a deserted island, it's a Lord of the Flies-esque scenario, with the kids forced to survive on their own. Ralph goes searching for food, discovering and eating a handful of berries. While Wiggum's slowness is endearing back in Springfield, it would almost certainly get him killed in the wild. He keels over immediately, and when Bart unnecessarily asks him how the berries taste, Ralph gives a visceral and unforgettable response that we still quote every time we eat anything spicy.
How are they, Ralph? Good?
They taste like burning.
Number 2, Super Nintendo Chalmers. To his credit, Ralph does keep trying to better himself, dumb as he may be. In this episode, Springfield Elementary finally has the funding to get computers for educational programs. And who needs one more than the struggling Ralph? As Skinner shows Lisa and Superintendent Chalmers around the lab, Ralph greets them, while also making it clear he's got a lot left to learn.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, Super Nintendo Chalmers.
This moment is even more proof that while Ralph may not be great with words, he will always proudly celebrate his education and his ability to keep learning.
I'm learning.
Okay, so I think we've established that my Ralph impersonation is not as good as my Barney impersonation, so let's not do that again. What do you guys think number 1's gonna be? I'm gonna give you a clue and say that it is heartbreaking. Okay, so let's stay tuned for these honorable mentions, and then we'll find out what number 1 is.
That's where I saw the leprechaun.
Right, a leprechaun.
He told me to burn things. I want to go back in Mommy.
Ralph, Jesus did not have wheels.
Yo, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
Go apple!
Go orange! Go banana!
Number 1, Heartbreak.
Poor Ralph.
When Lisa gives Ralph a Valentine's Day card out of pity, he falls head over heels for her, completely unaware it's an act of kindness. His attempts at flirting fail, so Ralph takes his dad's advice on persistence, inviting Lisa to Krusty's 29th anniversary special. Ice cream stains aside, it's actually Ralph's proclamation of love on live TV that puts Lisa over the edge.
And is this your girlfriend, Ralph?
Yes, I love Lisa Simpson, and when I grow up, I'm going to marry her.
She tears Ralph apart, viciously declaring how little she feels for him. Being the great big brother that he is, Bart replays the event for Lisa, showing her exactly when Ralph's heart, and ours, finally breaks.
Watch this, Lise. You can actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half. And now.
So fun fact, when Mission Impossible came out, my friends and I used to be like, Miss Hoover, Tom Cruise is in the van. It's like Ralph Wiggum. Anyway, it's super weird. So what do you choose as your favorite Ralph moment? See what I did there? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe and check out these other videos to keep the party going.